So you're here because you want to cut through the noise, grab the knowledge you need, and actually understand it without feeling like your brain just ran a marathon.
Yeah, we get it.
Today, we're diving deep into a resource that kind of promises exactly that. Niklas Göke's The 4-Minute Millionaire. 44 lessons to rethink money, invest wisely, and grow wealthy in 4 minutes a day.
Exactly. And look, forget needing an MBA or, endless hours poring over financial reports.
Right.
Our mission with this deep dive is really to pull out the most valuable and thought-provoking ideas from Göke's book.
Okay.
The stuff that can truly reshape how you approach your money and, well, building a secure future. The book's whole premise is bite-sized, actionable advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're laser-focused on delivering to you right now.
44 lessons, 4 minutes a day. It almost sounds like a catchy headline, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
But the brilliance has kind of been that structure. Göke has taken some really fundamental, sometimes, intimidating financial concepts and broken them down into these digestible pieces. And the core message, the real takeaway is, well, surprisingly empowering. It's this idea that building wealth isn't about some innate talent for finance or having a ton of spare time or a 6-figure salary straight out of the gate.
No, not at all.
It's about something much more within reach. Being consistent, questioning the money beliefs you've picked up over the years, and taking small, everyday steps.
Yeah.
It's genuinely encouraging, I think, for anyone who's ever felt a bit lost in the financial jungle.
And that brings us actually to our first key area, the incredible power of compounding.
Okay.
Which isn't just about how your investments grow, but also how those small daily actions accumulate into, well, big results. That 4-minute idea, as you mentioned, is both literal, the time you might spend reading a lesson.
Sure.
And symbolic of this consistent effort leading to significant change over time.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit, because so often when we think about getting ahead financially, there's this temptation to look for the silver bullet, right?
Right. The quick fix.
Yeah, the one big score. But what Göke seems to be saying, and what I think really speaks to, avoiding that information overload, is that it's the steady, consistent effort.
Yeah.
The daily learning and the small actions you take that truly compound over time. It's like that old saying about planting a tree, isn't it?
Exactly. The best time was 20 years ago.
The second best time is now.
Precisely. And think about it like this. Spending 4 minutes reading a lesson might then lead you to spend, I don't know, another few minutes checking your bank balances or maybe researching a term like asset allocation.
Okay.
Each tiny step builds your understanding and, importantly, your confidence. It's about gradually constructing a solid foundation, a foundation of financial knowledge and healthy habits. What's fascinating here is how these small, seemingly insignificant actions, when done consistently, can create this kind of snowball effect.
Like compound interest itself.
Exactly, much like the returns on a well-managed investment.
Now, one of the first roadblocks many of us encounter, and I know this has come up before, is our own mindset around money.
Oh, definitely.
Göke really gets into the importance of challenging those deeply ingrained beliefs we have about it.
Yeah.
These are the things we've absorbed from our families, our culture, maybe even negative experiences we've had ourselves.
And what's particularly insightful, I think, is how Göke pushes you to really question the origins of these limiting beliefs.
Where do they come from?
Yeah. We often inherit these narratives, money doesn't grow on trees or rich people are greedy, that kind of thing. These ideas, often absorbed subconsciously, can act like invisible anchors, kind of holding back your financial progress without you even realizing it.
Right.
It's about shining a light on these assumptions and asking, do they still serve you? Like if you believe, I'm just not good with numbers, well,
You'll avoid them.
you might just avoid looking at your finances altogether.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like putting a self-imposed limit on what's possible. If you genuinely believe you're not good with money, you're less likely to even engage with it, to learn about it, or to take those proactive steps.
For sure.
And he also touches on those psychological traps we can fall into, like the scarcity mindset, that persistent feeling of never having enough. Regardless of your actual situation or the very real fear of investing, which keeps so many people feeling, stuck on the sidelines.
Right. Paralyzed.
It's like being afraid to learn to swim, so you just stay by the edge of the pool, dipping your toes in.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about fundamentally reframing your relationship with money.
Okay.
Göke emphasizes that money in itself is neutral. It's merely a tool, right? A means to an end.
Yeah.
Its value comes from how it's used, whether it's to create security, pursue passions, or support loved ones. It's not about the accumulation of wealth for its own sake.
Right, not just hoarding cash.
Exactly. But rather as a way to gain more control and freedom in your life. It's about shifting from a mindset of maybe restriction to one of possibility and empowerment.
Okay, so we've talked about how we think about money. Now, let's get down to brass tacks.
Göke draws a pretty clear line between saving and investing.
He does.
And it seems his stance is pretty firm that investing is the engine for building significant wealth.
That's a critical distinction he makes, yeah. While saving is absolutely vital, for creating a financial safety net, achieving short-term goals.
Yeah, emergency fund.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Göke convincingly argues that investing is what truly allows your money to grow substantially over time, especially when you consider the impact of inflation.
Right, which just eats away at saving.
It really does. It erodes the purchasing power of money just sitting there.
Yeah.
So he introduces the fundamental difference between active income, your salary, basically.
Right, your core.
The money you directly work for, and passive income.
Yeah.
That's income generated by your assets, like investments.
The long-term objective, he suggests, is to gradually build that passive income stream as a pathway to greater financial independence. Think of it like planting seeds that eventually grow into trees bearing fruit, even while you sleep.
That makes a lot of sense, especially when you look at how the cost of everything tends to go up over time. Just keeping cash tucked away isn't going to get you very far in the long run.
Not really, no.
But for someone who's just starting out, the whole concept of investing can feel really daunting. It conjures up images of, complicated Wall Street jargon and risky high-stakes gambles.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street stuff.
Exactly. How does Göke address that initial fear and make it feel more approachable?
This is where the book really excels, I think, in making complex ideas simple. Göke deliberately demystifies investing.
Wow.
He strips away the intimidating jargon and clearly explains foundational concepts, things like stocks, representing ownership in a company,
Right.
ETFs, exchange-traded funds, which are like baskets of different investments.
Okay, diversification.
Exactly. And index funds, which track a specific market index, like the S&P 500. He explains it all in a way that's truly accessible to someone with, no prior experience. He also lucidly explains the magic of compound interest, that snowball effect we mentioned,
Yeah.
where your earnings start earning their own returns, and the crucial principle of diversification, spreading your investments around so you're not overly reliant on any single one.
So no pressure to become a day trader, obsessively watching market fluctuations.
Not at all. No. Göke champions a straightforward, evidence-based strategy. He strongly advocates for investing in low-cost, long-term index funds.
Okay, the passive approach.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He even references legendary investors like Warren Buffett and John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, who have long championed this very approach.
Right.
The core idea is invest broadly, consistently, and with a long-term perspective, rather than trying to time the market or chase fleeting trends.
That sounds reassuring.
It is. It's a very reassuring and practical message for beginners who might be worried about making mistakes.
And it sounds like, while his core advice is fairly traditional, he also acknowledges that the world of investing is constantly, evolving.
He does. Yeah, he touches on some of the newer asset classes like cryptocurrencies, crowdfunding, fractional ownership of assets, that sort of thing.
Okay.
However, importantly, he doesn't present them as get-rich-quick schemes or the primary focus for beginners. Not at all.
Right, not the first step.
No. Instead, he positions them as potential options for further diversification once you have a solid and well-established foundation in more traditional investments like those index funds.
Got it.
It's about exploring these areas with a sense of informed curiosity and understanding the potential risks involved rather than jumping in based purely on hype.
Now, one of the really distinctive and, I think, valuable features of this book is that almost every chapter concludes with a tangible to-do item.
Yes.
It's not just passive learning. It's actively encouraging you to take those small, consistent steps we've been talking about.
This is such a powerful element of the book. It directly bridges that gap between acquiring knowledge and actually implementing it in your own life by providing these clear, actionable takeaways at the end of each short lesson, whether it's something like, calculating your net worth for the first time.
Which can be scary, but necessary.
Totally. Or opening a basic investment account, which, you can often do online in minutes these days.
Yeah.
Setting up automatic transfers from your checking to savings or investments, or even just identifying and canceling a subscription service you no longer use.
Finding that latte factor money.
Exactly. It transforms the act of reading into a very practical and interactive experience.
It's almost like having a mini financial coach guiding you through these initial steps.
Kind of, yeah.
And it really reinforces that core idea of small, manageable actions. It makes the whole prospect of getting your financial house in order feel much less overwhelming, doesn't it?
Definitely, because you're not trying to overhaul everything at once.
Right.
It's all about building momentum through these small, achievable wins. Each completed to-do list item gives you that little sense of accomplishment and encourages you to keep moving forward on your financial journey. It's about creating those positive feedback loops.
Now, Göke doesn't claim to be the sole originator of all this wisdom, right? In fact, the book openly references and integrates insights from a range of other prominent financial thinkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
How does this sort of collaborative approach enhance the book's overall value for the reader?
Well, what's really smart about this approach, I think, is that Göke acts almost like a curator of well-established financial principles.
Okay, a synthesizer.
Exactly. He synthesizes key ideas from individuals like Ramit Sethi, known for his focus on automating your finances.
Right. I will teach you to be rich.
That's the one. Morgan Housel, who writes so eloquently about the psychology of money.
Love his stuff.
Yeah, it's great. Naval Ravikant with his insightful principles on wealth creation and long-term thinking. And even Tim Ferriss, famous for his strategies on optimizing various aspects of life.
Interesting mix.
It is. And instead of seeing this as a lack of originality, it's actually a significant strength. Göke has effectively done the work of sifting through and distilling these complex ideas into easily understandable and immediately applicable lessons for you.
It's like getting a curated collection of the best advice from multiple experts, all conveniently packaged in one place.
Precisely. And it sends a really encouraging message to the reader. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
There are proven principles and effective strategies that have stood the test of time, and you can learn from these established frameworks to develop a personalized financial plan that aligns with your own unique circumstances and goals.
So from your perspective, what makes this particular book a valuable resource for someone like our listener who wants to gain financial knowledge efficiently and effectively?
Well, number one, the readability and overall accessibility are paramount.
Yeah.
Göke's writing style is very conversational. It avoids that dense financial jargon, making even potentially intimidating topics feel surprisingly straightforward and easy to grasp. It truly doesn't feel like you're wading through a dry textbook. Plus, those short, focused chapters are ideal for fitting into a busy schedule. You can genuinely absorb a lesson in just a few minutes.
Definitely ticking that not feeling overwhelmed box we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. And the strong emphasis on practical application over abstract theory is another major advantage.
Okay.
It's not just about understanding theoretical concepts, it's about providing you with clear guidance on what concrete steps you can take right now to improve your financial situation.
Yeah, the what next.
Exactly. Those actionable to-do lists at the end of each chapter are where the real value lies for someone who wants tangible takeaways and wants to see real progress. He even highlights actions that can be taken with very little initial capital, emphasizing that the most crucial first step is often just a shift in mindset and a willingness to get started. For instance, tracking your spending for a week costs nothing, right?
Right, but can be incredibly insightful.
Hugely.
And it sounds like his voice throughout the book is quite relatable and down to earth.
It is, yeah. His honest and humble tone, often positioning himself as someone who is also continually learning.
Which is nice.
It is. It helps to build trust and makes the whole exploration of personal finance feel less intimidating and more like a supportive conversation. It's like learning from a knowledgeable friend who's maybe a bit further along the path but still remembers what it was like to be at the beginning.
Now, to ensure we're offering a balanced perspective, are there any potential criticisms or limitations that someone considering this book should be aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to have a well-rounded view. For individuals who already possess a more advanced understanding of investing and personal finance, the book might lack the in-depth analysis they're looking for on more complex subjects. Things like intricate tax optimization strategies or advanced portfolio theory.
Right.
It's intentionally designed to be an accessible entry point, not, a PhD thesis.
So it's more a launching pad than a comprehensive advanced guide.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Also, as we've touched on, the book draws extensively from the work of other financial experts. While Göke provides due credit, readers who are seeking entirely novel or groundbreaking financial concepts might find some of the ideas, familiar.
If they've read some of the others already.
Precisely. And while the book does briefly mention the importance of managing risk, it doesn't delve deeply into specific strategies for navigating, say, significant financial downturns or prolonged periods of economic uncertainty.
Okay, good to know.
That's certainly an area someone might want to explore in more detail as they become more comfortable with investing.
So based on all of this, who do you think would benefit most from spending those 4 minutes a day with the 4-Minute Millionaire?
Well, it really seems like an ideal starting point for, say, young professionals who are just beginning their careers, college students who want to build a solid financial foundation early on.
Yeah, wish I'd had it then.
Right. Busy individuals who feel overwhelmed by traditional, lengthy finance books, and essentially anyone who is looking to develop healthier money habits through small, manageable steps.
Okay.
If you tend to gravitate towards self-help or personal development formats, this book will likely resonate with your learning style. It's particularly well-suited for those who find the world of personal finance intimidating.
Yeah.
And are seeking a non-threatening and encouraging way to take their first steps towards building wealth.
So, to bring it all together,
Yeah.
what's the key value proposition of the 4-Minute Millionaire in your mind?
I'd say the core value lies in its accessibility and its relentless emphasis on taking consistent action.
Okay.
It provides a digestible and encouraging roadmap for building wealth through those small daily steps and that fundamental shift in how you think about money.
Right.
It directly addresses that desire for efficient knowledge acquisition without the feeling of being overwhelmed.
That sounds like exactly what we were aiming for at the start. So as you reflect on our discussion, here's maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Consider just one belief you currently hold about money. Just one. That you might be willing to challenge today. And then think about the very first 4-minute action you could realistically take towards building a different, maybe more empowered financial future.
Great challenge.
We really encourage you to delve deeper into these ideas, perhaps even by picking up a copy of Niklas Göke's book. It can be an incredibly valuable resource as you continue on your learning journey. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.